He wasn't even gone for a full day before the internet decided it knew exactly what happened. One post said it was a crash. Another said it was confirmed. Then the most shocking claim of all started spreading fast, that Whyte Folkz might have been running, not riding. And that police may have been right behind him when everything went wrong. Now his son is speaking out, and people in Memphis are demanding the truth. Here's the scary part. When a rumor like this hits, it doesn't stay a rumor for long. It turns into facts in comment sections. It turns into accusations. And it turns into sides. Some people want justice. Some people want a headline. And some people just want the story to end, because the silence feels unbearable. But what's real, and what's being twisted for clicks? Let's walk through what's being claimed, what's actually been shown publicly, and why this moment is so explosive for Memphis right now. It was about a wreck. A motorcycle crash. People said they saw posts, heard calls, got messages from someone who knows someone. Within hours, tribute edits appeared. Candle emojis filled the comments. And then it became a competition. Who could post the update first? Who could sound the most sure? Who could claim the closest connection? And when nobody official spoke fast enough, the rumor didn't die. It evolved, turned into a bigger claim, that he wasn't just in an accident, he was being chased. That single idea changed the whole mood. Because accident feels tragic. But chase feels like blame. It makes people pick a side. It makes people want names. And it makes people start asking questions that can set a whole city on fire. Now, let's slow down and be careful here. Online, people are throwing around the word confirmed, but most of what's circulating is still unverified. No clean police report posted publicly. No full official timeline being shared in a way that everyone can see. Just fragments, reaction videos, reposts, and emotional statements from people who sound close, but aren't always clearly identified. That's why this next part hit so hard. Because the claim is coming from someone the audience instantly takes seriously, his son. And when people say his son spoke out, what they usually mean is there's a clip, a post, or a message going around where his son is said to be the source. The message being repeated is simple and devastating, that his father was being chased by police before the crash. If that's true, it changes everything. It turns a sad rumor into a public controversy. It turns what happened into who caused it. And it turns grief into anger. But even if it's not fully proven yet, the fact that the claim is spreading tells you something important. The community already feels like the story doesn't add up. Because Memphis doesn't just react to rumors. Memphis remembers patterns. People in the city have seen situations where early information was confusing, where official statements came late, where the internet moved faster than real life, and where the truth took weeks to surface, if it ever surfaced at all. So when a local personality is involved and the updates are messy, people don't just get curious. They get suspicious. Now here's what's making it even more intense. Whyte Folkz wasn't just some random name online. He was a personality people recognized. Someone who had supporters, critics, and a whole history that people love to argue about. He had that kind of presence that makes every rumor bigger than it should be. Some people loved him because he felt real. Like he wasn't performing. Like he was showing you the streets, the jokes, the arguments, the energy. Others didn't like him because they felt he invited chaos. That's the thing about polarizing creators. When something happens, the reaction is never quiet. And in a moment like this, even old drama starts crawling back out. People bring up past beefs, past arrests, or at least accusations that circulated online. Past situations where he was seen arguing with someone, or talking tough, or hinting that trouble was close. Even if none of that proves anything about the crash, it changes how people interpret it. It makes some viewers say, "I knew something like this would happen." And it makes others say, "They wanted this to happen." And that's where the danger starts. Because once the crowd decides there's a villain, they start hunting for one. But let's stay with what's being claimed right now. The chase story is spreading in a few different versions. One version says he was simply being followed, like police lights behind him, pressure rising, panic setting in, and then a split-second decision that turned deadly. Another version says it was a full-on chase, like high speed, no control, no safe way out. And the most extreme version says it wasn't even about traffic, it was personal. Like somebody wanted to catch him, and the chase was the final push. Those three versions are not the same story. But online, they get mixed together like they are. And that's why people are confused. Because if you ask 5 different pages what happened, you'll get 5 different timelines. One says it was late night. Another says early morning. One says it happened here. Another says it happened there. One says he was alone. Another says someone was with him. And when the details don't match, people start believing the worst one, because the worst one feels like it explains the chaos. Now, where does the Sun fit into all of this? If his son truly made a statement, even a short one, people see it as the closest thing to confirmation. Not a blogger. Not a repost page. Not a comment section insider. Family. And when family speaks, the room changes. But there's another problem people aren't talking about enough. In moments of shock, even real family statements can be incomplete. Not because they're lying, because they're grieving, because they're hearing things from different people, because they may be trying to make sense of the last phone calls, the last messages, the last hours. So the question isn't just, did he say it? The question is, what exactly did he say, and what did he mean? Was it a direct accusation? Like, they chased him? Or was it a fearful belief? Like, I heard they were chasing him. Or was it a question that got repeated as a fact? Like, was they chasing him? Turning into he was being chased. That happens online all the time. One sentence becomes a headline. A headline becomes a truth. And the truth becomes a weapon. And if you think I'm exaggerating, look at how fast people started demanding names. Not just what happened. Names. What officer? What department? What unit? What car? What camera? Where's the body cam? Where's the dash cam? Where's the report? Where's the footage? Where's the proof? That kind of pressure can be good when it's aimed at transparency. But it can also be destructive when it's fueled by guesswork. Because if the chase claim is wrong, innocent people can get targeted. And if the chase claim is right, then the pressure is going to explode, and the city is going to want answers fast. That's why this story feels like a fuse. Now, let's talk about the part nobody wants to admit out loud. Even if there was a chase, the story still has layers. Because people are already arguing about what chase means. Was it an active pursuit? Or was it a traffic stop attempt that escalated? Was it one car? Multiple? Were lights on? Sirens on? Was he speeding before any police contact? Was he trying to get away from something else? Was he afraid? Was he targeted? Was it just a tragic chain of choices that ended the worst way? Those details matter. And right now, most people don't have them.
So, what do we have?
We have a community on edge. We have a rumor that moved faster than confirmation. We have a claim tied to family that's being repeated across pages. And we have a city that's seen too many stories get twisted, buried, or used for content. And the quietest part of this whole thing might be the loudest clue. Because when a story is clear, updates come fast. When a story is sensitive, updates slow down. And when a story is complicated, people start whispering instead of speaking. That's why some fans think the silence means there's more to it. But there's also a darker reason the silence can happen. Sometimes people go quiet because lawyers get involved. Sometimes people go quiet because they're waiting on official identification or next of kin notifications. Sometimes people go quiet because the truth is still being pieced together and nobody wants to be the one who says the wrong thing on camera. So right now, we're in that in-between zone. And that in-between zone is where the internet becomes dangerous. Because people don't just wait. They create. They create theories. They create villains. They create fake screenshots. They create exclusive updates. They create phone call stories that can't be verified. They create fake pages that look real. They create AI voice clips. They create anything that can keep the views coming. Which is why, if you care about this story and the people involved, the smartest move is to treat everything as unconfirmed until there's a clear, public statement you can trace to a real source. But even with that caution, We can still talk about why the Sun's claim, real, misquoted, or misunderstood, hit like a bomb. Because it taps into something deeper than gossip. It taps into fear. In many communities, the idea of a police chase ending in death isn't just news. It's personal history. It's a memory. It's something people feel in their stomach. And when they hear it might have happened again, they don't respond like viewers. They respond like family. And that's why the comment sections look the way they do. That's why the tone shifted from sad to furious. That's why RIP quickly turned into "we need the footage." But that wasn't the whole story. The next shocking twist is how fast people started building a timeline without a timeline. Because once the Sun's claim hit the feed, it wasn't just tragic. It became a mystery that people felt they could solve from their phones. And you could literally watch the internet turn into a courtroom in real time. Beat, not with evidence. With emotion. One person posts, "He was being chased." Another replies, "I heard the same thing." Somebody drops a location name like it's proof. Somebody else posts a blurry screenshot that could be from anywhere. And within minutes, a whole story is revealed, even though nobody can point to a single official, verified breakdown. That's the challenge in cases like this. The loudest version becomes the most believed version. So let's talk about what a chase claim really does to a story like this. It forces two questions at the same time. First, did it happen? Second, if it did, what led up to it? And the second question is where things start to get messy because people don't just want to know what police did. They want to know what Whyte Folkz did. And once you ask that, everybody starts pulling from his past, his image, and his reputation, whether it's fair or not. The most common pattern goes like this. A creator becomes known for being bold. Sometimes loud. Sometimes reckless. Sometimes funny. Sometimes unpredictable. They collect fans who ride hard for them and critics who can't stand them. Then one day, a real-life tragedy hits, and suddenly every old clip gets dragged back into the light like it's evidence. That's what's happening here. People are reposting old moments saying, "See? This is why." Others are saying, "Stop smearing him." And the truth is, both sides are reacting to the same thing: uncertainty. Nobody likes not knowing. Now, here's a fresh hook that changed the conversation again. Some viewers started asking, if there was a chase, why would nobody say it officially? And that question has two possible answers, and both are intense. Answer one is simple. Because it didn't happen. And the Sun's words were misunderstood, misquoted, or exaggerated as they spread. Answer two is the one that makes everyone's stomach drop. Because if it did happen, it could mean the details are sensitive, under review, or tied to an investigation that isn't ready to go public. And when people believe answer two, the pressure multiplies. That's when you see demands for body cam footage, dash cam footage, dispatch logs, names,
Times.
everything. But there's something else a lot of people don't realize. A chase story can be true in the public's mind even when it's not technically a chase.